Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokémon Journeys episode 47, Pokémon Champion, The Battle of Big Eaters. This was the 1132nd episode of the Pokémon anime, and wow, I love this episode. I mean, you read the title of this video. I think that shows just how much I like this one. I thought it was totally outrageous and ridiculous in all the right ways. Let's get into it. The episode opens with an updated intro from the one we usually get, giving us new visualizations of Ash and Go's dreams. The only thing I really got from this was that the three trainers in Ash's path were Bea, Raihan, and Leon. Now, it's a safe bet that Ash will be competing in the Masters 8 final tournament one day, and that means he'll have to win 3 battles in a row in order to become World Champion, or Monarch, if that's what you really want to call it. Are these going to be the 3 trainers that Ash battles at the end of the series? I guess we'll have to wait to find out. I am a little surprised that the opening theme hasn't been updated with any of the new evolutions or party changes recently, but at the end of this little intro, we do get to see an updated look at the main squad, and what an adorable little family. With all that out of the way, we can finally get to... Yeah, we are not wasting any time today. We've got an eating contest to get to, and it's gonna be amazing. We see a quick glance at the field of competitors, and a Blaziken is singled out as the favorite to win it all. There's a quick flashback to set up why we're at this eating contest, and we see that Lucario and Cinderace are both taking naps, so that's why they're not really in this episode. Still, it's just still crazy to me that we have this duo in our lives. Go's Squovette is pounding through its food again, and Professor Cerise drops by to tell them about the Vermilion City Pokemon eating contest, which Go wants to enter with Squovette. As you can tell, he's kinda fired up about it. Oh yeah, and for some reason Krissa, one of Professor Cerise's assistants, is apparently an expert on the subject of eating contests. Strange, but alright. Cut back to the present, and just before we can get this eating contest underway, we see Team Rocket for the first time in a while, and they're entering the competition as well. Apparently they've been fasting for a few days with their Morpeko, which isn't really their Morpeko, but it's the closest thing they have to a Pokemon of their own this series, so I'll take it. Anyways, they've basically been depriving it from food so much that its hangry mode is fully activated. Over in the stands, Professor Cerise and Chloe are there to support Ash and Go, while Krissa is just super passionate about everything that's going on. This is a running theme throughout the episode that she's just so into everything about this eating contest, while Chloe, unsurprisingly, doesn't see what the big deal is. The first round is just a berry eat-off, and all the Pokemon have different tactics for getting all their food down as quickly as possible. We see that Team Rocket are actually working this event, and this will come into play later. Some of the highlights of this round are Blaziken, which is everyone's pick to win the whole thing, managing to look dignified while still eating fast, and Bisharp, hey, that's gotta be a DQ, right? Thank you, we cannot be having that in this eating contest. The only real surprise from the first round is that Ash gets eliminated early, since apparently his Dragonite is not actually a big eater. I'm a little surprised Ash didn't enter with Pikachu, and obviously we would have all liked to see a big return like Ash's Snorlax, but instead Ash makes his way for Go to take center stage for the rest of the episode. After the top 10 advance into the next round, Go gets into it with another competitor backstage before Team Rocket comes in to clear the air by offering everyone cookies, which, of course, they messed with so that they expand once they're eaten, so nearly half the field gets taken out by this dirty trick. Team Rocket aren't done rigging things just yet, as the next round is a head-to-head matchup drawn randomly, but of course Meowth is inside that box, rigging the matchups in their favor. And in case you are wondering, this tense music that's playing right now is the same background music they were using in the show at this point. The eating contest is about to get real serious, and they're using the same kind of music they would play during one of Ash's battles versus Bea to really get that point across. We get the matchups for the next round, and what's this? That's right, this is what Team Rocket was trying to rig. They made it so Blaziken and Snorlax were going to face each other since they were the 2 favorites to win the whole thing. Krissa gives us the backstory of their rivalry, and one of the other matchups is, unsurprisingly, Go versus the weird guy he almost got into a fight with backstage. Based on how the draw went, one trainer from each matchup got to pick the type of food for this head-to-head, and this actually played a big part in what happened next. Blaziken and Snorlax are both going to town on some curry, while James tactically selected some kind of hot dish that Morpeko has no trouble with, but as for the opponent's Glalie, I'll be honest, given the craziness that's gone on in this episode so far, it would not have surprised me in the slightest to see this guy whip out a Mega Ring and Mega Evolve his Glalie so he could eat the hot food. I'm serious, this eating contest was so intense that a Mega Evolution would not have even felt out of place right here. Instead, Glalie just freezes the dish solid, which reminds me of when I highlighted Glalie in my top 10 scariest Pokédex entries video. Let's cut to that for a moment, shall we? Glalie. Glalie has the ability to freely control ice. For example, it can instantly freeze its foe solid. After immobilizing its foe in ice, this Pokemon enjoys eating it in a leisurely fashion. Wow. I'll leave the link to that video in the description in case you want to check it out more. But yeah, apparently this Glalie is having issues eating the block of ice, and this was James's plan all along. Like I said a minute ago, there was some strategy here with the dishes that got chosen. Speaking of which, Go chose some really sweet food for his head-to-head, because he noticed this guy and his muck shying away from the cookies earlier, and he deduced that they must not like sweet food. Gotta give Go, as well as the writers for this episode, a ton of credit for their attention to detail. Following this intense head-to-head round, the final three are Blaziken, Morpeko, and Squilvet. These competitors are going to be eating some kind of Torchic-shaped delicacy for the final round. Morpeko and Squilvet get off to a fast start, while Blaziken... Oh my god, this episode is so good. What a dramatic turn of events. How could a Blaziken eat something resembling a Torchic? Even Pikachu is able to figure this one out. After Blaziken departs from the contest, it's down to Squilvet and Morpeko, and it looks like Morpeko has had its fill as it's back to full belly mode. Team Rocket try to get it to keep eating, and this just gets them blasted off again. That leaves just Squilvet, who has to get another plate down in order to win. Issue is, it's totally full. Wait, are you serious for giving this eating contest the full opening theme treatment? I mean, back when Go was literally fighting a legendary Pokemon, this happened. There's not many things I like more in a Pokemon episode than when the intro song kicks in during an epic moment. I stand by what I said back then. I love it when the opening theme kicks in during an important moment, and let's be honest, there is no more important moment than the ending of this eating contest. Oh yes, Squilvet has evolved into Greedent, and this thing is all over. The episode ends with Go winning the eating contest, and with it, a trip to Unova. I am so excited to give this episode, wait for it, a 9 out of 10 rating. Just for comparison, that's higher than I gave Ash's battle with Karina and Ash's return to Alola. For real, I loved this episode. I titled this video the best filler episode ever, and while I'm not sure if that's the case, it's definitely a contender. I'm sure I'll do a full top 10 video on that exact concept one day, and this episode will be right near the top of that list. There was so much I liked about this episode, as opposed to the 2-for-1 special episodes we've gotten in Pokémon Journeys, which have a strange, almost meta kind of humor to them. This episode was intentionally over the top outrageous. It kind of reminded me of that Pokemon base episode from early on in the Sun and Moon series, which was another filler episode that just totally leaned into the over-the-top ridiculousness of whatever random event they happened to be doing that day. Sometimes, I praise the anime for being self-aware and being able to tell deep, meaningful stories. Other times, I just sit back and laugh continuously at a lighthearted, entertaining kids show. That's what this episode was for me. We've already gotten so much seriousness in Pokemon Journeys, especially recently. This episode was a much-needed reprieve from all of that, and it was just flat-out entertaining. I'm sure some of you probably didn't like this episode, but I absolutely loved it. Ash and Dragonite were not the focus of the episode, and that allowed a lot of other characters to shine. It was strange to see one of those characters being Krissa, and I'm really not sure why she was suddenly given such a big personality. It did rub off on Chloe by the end of it, and really, how could you not be invested in this eating contest by the end of it? I was on the edge of my seat. Even when the silliness was reaching max intensity, it even swerved us with the moment where Blaziken refused to eat the Torchic-shaped food, which totally caught me off guard. Now, I was a little hesitant at first to give this episode a higher rating than things like Ash's battles vs. B, but I can't hide it, I just loved everything about this episode. I think all I needed to put it over the top and give it a 10 out of 10 would have been something like that Glalie trainer randomly mega evolving his Pokemon, or maybe instead of Morpeko giving up on the competition after it was full, Skwovet could have evolved into Greedent to catch up to it while it was still in hangry mode, instead of the somewhat anticlimactic ending of Skwovet being the last competitor standing. Well, that episode is going to be hard to top, but let's look ahead to what's going on next, as Go will be cashing in his trip to Unova that he won in this episode. I love that little bit of continuity connecting the episodes together. Ash and Go actually have a reason to travel to another region this time. After a day off in this episode, it looks like Lucario and Cinderace will be featured, and Team Rocket have some kind of plan to steal Pikachu. I'm sure this will be the episode that they finally succeed in stealing it, right? If you want to hear me talk about Pokemon Journeys some more, check out my recent discussion video where I try and figure out what's next for Pokemon Journeys. I talk about things like potential returning characters and how things like the Sword and Shield DLC and potential Sinnoh remakes could play out in future episodes. But that's all I've got for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like on this video and drop a comment with your thoughts. Did you guys enjoy this episode as much as I did? Also, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.